Okay, what up, guys? So quick follow-up video for the one I just posted. I just put a video on just kind of showing the A3 lower, the magazines. One of the things that I highlighted was the magazine function, and it was something that was just kind of bothering me so much I didn't even want to wait till I went to the range, which is going to be tomorrow. I'm going to go out and kind of test this whole thing. But one of the things that I had pointed out was that with these Magpul mags, you know, you basically seat the mag with the bolt forward, and the gun's not loaded. With the bolt forward, no problem. The magazines, they come right out. Easy, they pop right out, just like you would want. They just come right out. Good to go. But when the magazine is, the bolt's held open, bolts open, which is obviously when you're running and gunning and you want to be able to hit the mag release and the magazine just fall right out. The magazine wouldn't fall out. Having some issues with that. No magazine falling out. You know, and that's when you want to see it happen. Obviously, that actually happened. So I sat here on the desk and I was just kind of, you know, looking at the magazines and looking at the way that this thing is done. And this is what I came up with. So when the magazine is in the gun, one of the issues that you're going to see with the way that this mag release is designed, and what I kind of figured out here, is when you're pushing on the mag release, yeah, sure, the release tab is pushing in down there. Down here, the release tab is pushing in, but obviously the issue is that the mag release itself is pushing up against the magazine. It almost like it's pinning the magazine into place, you know. So therein lies the problem. It actually, you know, you push on that, and there's not a spring that's pushing down, you know, from the follower, because the bolt's not there, so it's not pushing the magazine out like it is when the bolt's forward. So it's almost like, again, you're pinning the magazine into place. I went ahead and I did a little bit of work to it. It's actually a lot better. Here's a stock magazine, Magpul magazine, you know, when the magazine is in the gun, nice and tight, and you hit the mag release, it's a little bit of a chore to kind of get it to come out. So what I did, and I'll kind of show you the comparison here, I went ahead and followed their recommendation. I took my little files. I definitely filed on this right here, because again, there's where you get your height difference between here and the tops of the feed lips. So I filed this a little bit, very little. I also filed and sanded the whole back of the magazine here. I sanded the whole magazine, the front of the magazine here, just to make sure that where it sits in the mag well, it just kind of wants to slide right out, and not have any sort of stuff that's going to interfere with it. You can see, if you kind of compare a stock magazine with the one I've already modified, you can see I've taken some of these, you know, grip, I won't even call them serrations, but they're, you know, grip pieces, whatever you want to call it, that's molded into the magazine. I've taken some of them and just filed them off completely, because when this is in the mag well, this is the spot at which that magazine catch and magazine release is going to touch this. So I want this to be able to slide past here and not have any sort of, you know, place where it's going to, you know, it's going to grip it. I did the same thing on the front, just as a, you know, just as an extra added measure. Got a couple of them in here. Again, I kind of, you know, filed this off. I've taken the sandpaper and I've sanded it. I've, you know, done function checks with the entire thing, with this one that I've modified, you know, with some rounds in it, just to make sure that, you know, I've got rounds that are chambering properly, I've got rounds that are ejecting properly. It's all operating the way that it should. I also went ahead and I looked at the underside of the magazine, and when I first started kind of looking at the mag, and I was, you know, just feeling this, you know, this polymer, it was kind of, I won't say rough or bumpy, but it really wasn't very smooth. So I took it all apart, I took it off the upper, basically held in the mag release, and I just kind of hit it with a little bit of sandpaper here, hit it with some sandpaper on the sides a little bit, just to kind of try to smooth it out, so that, you know, the magazine, you know, when it's in the gun, that hopefully it just wants to just drop right out. Now, again, this is the one I've already kind of done some work to, and it actually comes out quite a bit easier. I mean, like I barely pull on it, and the thing just wants to come right out. So, which is good, which is what I'm hoping for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to the range tomorrow, and I'm going to run them both. I'm going to run the one that I've modified, and I'm going to run a stock Magpul mag. I want to see what the difference is going to be between the both of them, and see what, if any, other improvements I can do. You know, as you run magazines and things like that, you know, you start to see where, you know, wear spots will develop, you know, on the magazine itself, and you can tell, you know, where the contact points are, where it's sliding in and out of the mag well. And so if I start to see these, you know, builds up of contact areas, then maybe I'll kind of work on those a little bit more, so that hopefully the magazine, when empty and the bolt is held back, it'll just fall right out. However, otherwise, I certainly think that this is a contributor to the problem. This design for the release of the magazine certainly pins the magazine. You can see that. If you were to push it all the way, we're pinning the magazine. I mean, even if I was, you know, tight, I mean, it's pinned pretty well there. So, you know, magazine is seated. It's not coming out. Even if I just push on the magazine release a little bit, there's where it wants to pull and release. So you can see that the magazine is in the mag well. You can see that, you know, as far as the serrations were concerned, or the grip bumps, they were all the way up to here, and that is where you're getting some contact with the mag release. So definitely want to, if you're going to run Magpul mags, get rid of those, because you are certainly possibly going to have interference issues there. And again, you can see where I kind of did it to the front of these ones right here, because it was contacting the front of the mag well right there. So again, I want that to just slide out of there. So simple fix hopefully with that. But I think moving forward, especially for A3, and I may talk with Brett about this, that should be a redesign. Like, I kind of get where they're going with that, but maybe they should do something differently to how that operates, because again, you're pinning, it's pinning the magazine in place, and when you're trying to, you know, drop an empty magazine and do a reload quickly, that's not going to really do it for you. So a quick follow-up on that. I'll let you know how it turns out when I run it at the range tomorrow. Thanks for watching.